Okay, so hopefully you've downloaded the responder class from Blackboard and kind of filled up those response maps and default responses. Okay, so let's start the support system class now. The support system class basically will have an input reader object, right? You can call it whatever you like. And it will have a responder object because that's what it does, right? That's what the system is all about. And of course, in its constructor, it will just initialize these two. Right? So all it does is for your reader object, create your reader object. And for your responder object, create your responder. Job done, right? And now what you need is basically a method that is in kind of an infinite loop. Of course, it cannot be infinite. It will be in a loop till you decide to stop, and that stopping has to come from the user, right? The user may like to exit the system or stop the system or whatever. And once it is done, a job is done. So you can choose whatever. If you notice on Blackboard, I've said bye. Of course, you could do an exit or whatever. Okay, so it's basically a online tech support system. That's why we say, please type in your question or whatever. Okay, so this has a public, of course, method, can be private, and its main job is to go on for till the user decides to stop, right? So the start is basically, so you can take a Boolean variable, call it whatever you like. I've said finished, and assign it a value, oops, and assign it a false. So my loop will be, so while you are saying while finished is false, so while not finished, right? So when you're done, then you will say the job is over. Now, since it is a support system, I'm going to print a welcome message, which could be just something like, you know what, please welcome to, or whatever. And the main loop is while not finished. Now, quite a few of you, with a Boolean variable, you can just say while finished. Finished means you don't have to say finished is equal to true or finished is equal to false. A shorter way of doing it is while finished means while finished is equal to true, and while not finished means while finished is equal to false. So there's nothing wrong in kind of checking if finished is equal to true or if finished is equal to false. Readability wise, this is much better, right? So avoid it if you can. Like, in your second course, you should start becoming a little more sophisticated, right? Now, what do we need? We need to basically ask the user the question. So basically the user types his or her question and we respond. Okay, so let's take a hash set, right? And of type string, and ask the user for input. And the method was get input. There it is. Remember, the other methods that are listed here are all coming from the object class. So as soon as you use hash set, it will say cannot be resolved and import it. Right? So you have your hash set of strings. Remember the get input method? The get input method was asking for input from the user, was splitting it up into words, and was returning the words to you. Now you have to stop somewhere. So I'll say if the input. Now input is a hash set, but fortunately it has the contains method. Right? Remember contains method? Contains method basically checks to see if it is present in that particular set. So contains works the same way as the contains of the array list. So what are you trying to contain? You could use starts with, ends with, contains will just say anywhere any of these words. So I'm saying basically, does it contain, I've done by, you can do whatever. So you can ask the user to say, oh, exit the system now or whatever. So if that's the case, if it contains by, so all you do is bring your cursor to by if you like. And here is the hash set contains method. And it says returns true if the set contains the specified element. And remember, it's already been broken up into words. So if you write something like goodbye, it won't recognize it. That's not contains, right? Because goodbye will be one word. So then it won't stop. So maybe we can make it better, but I don't know. But here it just says it contains by, right? Okay, so all I'm saying is if it contains by, then you can make your finished variable as true. Job done. And the loop will stop, right? And the loop will stop. Else what do you have to do? You have to basically ask your responder to get a response. That's all. So ask your, oh, okay. I think this is the start method, right? I'll need a string variable also. Again, you can put it inside the while loop. You can put it inside the else. It can all be done. It's allowed. All you have to keep in mind is the scope. Something, if you declare something here at the top, it's available throughout the method. If you declare something inside the while, it is only available inside the while. And if you declare something inside the else, it is only available inside the else. So that's your blocking. That's how the scope of it. Okay, so get your response back from the user, back from the system. And remember, you have the responder object. And there is a method called generate response. Right? And what do you need to pass to it? The input. Yep, just pass the input. Right, so just pass the input to you. And now again, since it is an online tech support system, you have to print out this response on the screen. So this is, and it's logical. There's nothing wrong in it. I'm taking the input and I'm showing the output right in my class definitions, just because that's how the system is. It's a talking system. You know what I mean? Like an online system. So you type something and then the response comes back and you type something. So basically that's your start method, right? And once you are done, of course, just to be on the, oh God, I very quickly finish. I should always, I tell you, I've been telling you from the beginning and then I forget myself. That's your while. And when the work is done, we'll just again kind of say something like print by or goodbye or something. I'm trying to keep with the methods I've used and given you on Blackboard, so that that's the only required method that you need. You want to keep on going till it is not finished. And when does it finish? When the user decides to finish. So the user types in a word like exit or buy or whatever, and then it finishes. Gone. The communication is gone. Right now, the print welcome and the print goodbye methods are not very huge. They're just normal methods which will say something, as the name suggests. So all you have to do is some system.out.println, and you can say something like welcome to whatever, right? Just any message. So again, the message I've put on Blackboard just so that, and then you can say something like, and you can always make it as pretty as you want, as long as it is neat and clean and clear. Clarity is important. And you can say, please tell us about your problem. Something like that. And of course, welcome to, I mean, you can complete it if you like. It's not a big deal. These are not so tough to write. I'm just putting my name initials. That's all I'm doing. Oops. Right, that's your print welcome. And your print by would be kind of similar, except it says by. What else? So again, I've made them private because it makes no sense to make these methods as public. So what method should be private and what method should be public at this point of time in week 12, you should be clear about it. Okay, so let's say a private returns nothing. I'll print goodbye. And all it does is, again, some kind of system out println. Yeah.
A quick question.
Yes.
Inside of this print goodbye method, because it's the last thing you want to run, could we also post a system.close code?
For where? For print welcome?
Or not, like inside print goodbye. We're
oh, okay.
Now.
Yeah.
Could we also put a close method in here too?
And close what?
Like the program. Like you want to close it, get the status code based on whether they're.
Oh, you mean you want to return something like a status code or something?
Yeah.
What do you have in mind? Why do you want to do it?
Say you're running this on a server, right?
Okay.
and you want to log how well your software is working.
Okay.
You can put a simple like binary code that says, "Hey, was there problem solved? Yes, no."
Mhm.
You
I
can-
see what you're saying. Yeah,
You
okay.
can return system code as you
Sure.
want.
Yeah, could be done if you're keeping a count of or keeping a track of how good your software works. Yeah, we could do something like that. You could always ask when the user exits something like, instead of saying nice talking to you, maybe could you give us, as usually dialog box comes up, would you like to review our software, or are you satisfied with our answer, something like that, right? And whatever the user gives, you can store it somewhere, if whatever you like, and maybe put it in a static variable because it's shareable, it doesn't die, and then that static variable counts how many said yes and how many said no, or something like that. And then you don't need to return something, but you'll have to put that answer of the user, yes or no, or whatever you're doing, whatever, in a static variable. So when the object dies, the static variable still lives because the static variable belongs to a class. Okay, we can do that. Okay, so where were we? Okay, so that's your simple support system class. And look at how simple it is, because all it is doing is taking some input from the user and then giving a response to the user. And if the user says bye, it stops. That's all it does. Right? So now, if there are no syntax errors here, all we need to do is write the tester. And there is not much to write in the tester because this support system itself is kind of your tester, but we still have to write the tester. What will the tester do? The tester will basically, oh, I should have just said public static void main. And the tester, all the tester will do is create a system, support system object. You can call it whatever you, oops, all spellings are wrong. And call it start method. And away you go. That's all the tester does. The rest is taken care by the start. Keeps on reading, looks at a question, answers, tries to answer it using at its response map, finds it, gives it to you, doesn't find it, gives you a default answer back, and it goes on till you say bye. That's what it will do, right? And at different points, if you want to see what is created, like for example, in the input reader, just for the heck of it, not because we need to, but of course, when you want to test something, if you want, you can get your hash set printed here, just so that you know what's happening. This is just for testing the system. Of course, I don't want to, but since you're using your hash sets and hash, and again, I'm not making it any pretty at all. I'm just going to say words and see how it will come up on the screen. Oops. Just so that you can see it. Because you're using a hash set, right? So it's a good idea to see what's going on. It won't be very neat. It shows the values in square brackets, but at least you can see it, right? So you'll know how are my words broken up. So again, so putting system out println statements in your code is not, it's just for you. How does it work? So if I can see what my words were, then I'm sure, oh, it's breaking it up properly. Of course, when I know it works, I'll remove it. I don't want to keep it. So the tester, all the tester does it has a support system object created and the start. Okay, let's see how it works. So if every class, so this is just so that I can show it to you if things are working. So we can start with garbage if you like just for the heck of it. What does it do with the words to see how the hash set is working? So this is what it will come up with because that's your print message, right? Of course, I could have made it more prettier. We are not doing GUIs, but you could have a GUI and where you could press buttons and go on and do with it. So let's try to do something like how are you, how are, kind of, I'm just repeating words, okay? So this is how it broke up the words. How are, yes. And notice I have no clue. The yes came at the end. But in a set, you don't have any sequence. That's what I said. A set is a collection. So see, if was everything taken care of, how is taken care of, are, yes, yes, yes. You, the spelling was wrong, but anyway, yes. Do yes and you yes. Each word is only occurring once. And definitely none of these words were in its response, in its hash map, right? I didn't have it. So what did it say? That's not a bug, it's a feature. Like it picked up default, and that's what it is. Like sometimes the answers are so silly. Like if you've ever, and that's so bugging, right? It's, I don't know how successful these online systems are. Personally, I don't like them, but maybe if they are made well, who knows, right? So when I use, like, I've not used them many times, only a couple of times, but who does? So that's what it is doing. So now it is waiting for the next one, right? So if I now put something like I have a bug, like I'm just saying it because there's nothing else. So notice how it has, why do I have a comma here? Oh, you know what? I think I have my mouse at the wrong place. It's taking a blank also. Notice how it has taken a blank also. Blank is a word. When you have more than one blanks, I didn't type it here. Let me see. Can I put my mouse here? Yeah. So I think I started on the other line. So all blank, 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 blanks, it only saves one blank. So the first word is an empty string, a bug, and a have, and an I. Again, there is no sequence. I said I have a bug, and it set will just give you in any order. And then, well, you know, all software has some bugs, but our software engineers are working very hard to fix them. Can you describe the problem a bit further? So that it has picked up from its response map, because there was something, there was a word called bug. Let me see. So if I try something like, and I'm sure, so I don't know why it does that. As soon as I start to type here, have I done something in my code? I've never used the scanner class in Eclipse. I mean, I haven't used it for ages. Why is it going to a new line? You guys, do you have any, like, since you've used it more than I have? Do you think that's creating the problem? So the blank must only occur once. Yeah, see, the blank word only occurs once. It won't put as many blanks. But again, the word blank itself is kind of a poor word. It's not a word. So as I said, you could have a set of words with these things that are common, I, am, as, no, hello, and things, and you can remove them from your hash set before you start creating responses. And I can look at it. I'm sure there'll be something, but that's what it has done. I don't know why scanner is taking, it's not, I mean, it's not doing an enter or whatever. I need a bit more information on that, because none of the words were, I think, recognized. So now I have to, it doesn't, I mean, I can do this. It won't exit, because the by has to occur on its own. So maybe we can use the substring function of the string on the word and say if the word by occurs anywhere. So notice how if I say bye, it won't exit. If I only say the word by, doesn't matter how I say it, then it will exit. It's done now, right? So if we could, in a word also, so I've said contains. Contains only means it will check these words. Okay, now I am by. But maybe just because, I mean, not, it's really not important in the sense, but people may say goodbye or may say bye-bye, which means bye again, right? Let's see if we can do it, but this is how it is working, right? So if you notice, it's just a very automated, simple tech support system. But in the process, I hope you've understood the hash set and the hash map that we use. And if you know that, you should be okay with tree maps and tree sets. And there is a sorted map, if I remember, like there are more to go. So if we could, let's look at it. What are we doing in the, oh, to the responder, only a word, oh, only words are coming, right? So maybe could we do this in the support system? So we'll have to change something like this, right? So we are getting what? A hash set back. We are saying, does the hash set contain by? Something like a wildcard character, like anything including by. So means, do we need a, what's coming back is a set. A method in the set. A method in the, it's a, strings are coming out of it, that we know for sure. And we know that there is a substring method in the string class. We also know that. The only thing we don't know is, or we have to look up is, oh, a for each loop, but the for each loop will, the for each loop is not a, yeah, go ahead, Michael, do you have something in your head?
I'm thinking that maybe the method that generates
Responses?
a hash list based on the input when you're storing the input, you could do a check on each element in the list.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, somebody has to do it. To me, that somebody could have been in the responder, but remember, all the responder does, it gives you a setback. So whether responder does it or the system does it, doesn't matter.
Well,
It's more a job of the system, right?
Responder gives you a set, right?
Yeah, responder gives me a set. If in this set I can pick up a word, which is a set of words, and I can, instead of just saying contains, I can say, like, I'm looking for any word that, so I have words now, by, I am, something, something. But suppose I had a by, right? I want to see if in that word by is a part of it, like a substring of it.
I think
There is a substring method, but how do I,
there is a substring method.
for the string
You
class?
have to check every single string.
Yeah.
You're
Oh yes, we have to check every single string. Yeah. So that will be so that's what I said, a for each loop. Then I said that was too much work. I'm checking every word to see whether it contains the word by. You know what I mean? This one is easier just because it says, does it contain by? It doesn't, like, I mean, it does the job for me, but it's only looking for the word by, nothing else.
Well,
I mean, trying to avoid that for each loop and checking every word, which contains does anyway. That would be better. I mean, so as in this case, it won't stop till you, I mean, and that's how that's how systems are. If it says type quit to quit, you have to type quit. If it says type exit to exit, you have to type in exit. So here I'm saying, I should have said somewhere. Did I say somewhere print?
well, you could, I guess, if you wanted to make it a little more robust, that if statement you're checking,
Yeah.
could check for by, or input contains like by or.
Yeah, but that's not good. That's not a good way of doing. Somewhere I should tell the user that he should type by, and I should tell him somewhere, right? Which I haven't done anywhere. And who will tell it? The input reader class. So where is it? Asking here. So somewhere here. Oh, or maybe in the welcome message.
Oh wait.
Yeah, print welcome. Maybe in the print welcome message.
So in your console, you were a little confounded because every time you tried to type,
Yeah.
it would put you on a new line.
Yeah.
I think you used a print line, and print line will put a return character in.
But okay, let me see.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Okay, so.
Oh, print line. I get it. Thank you. It should be a print here.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks. That makes sense. And here I'll just say print by, and it doesn't, you know what we can do, at least so that doesn't matter lowercase or uppercase, we can do this also. I can make it better, a little better. Print by to quit or exit. Exit the what? Exit the system? No. The conversation? Or maybe just print exit. Another thing that I can do, which will be a little better, is this. When you split it, you know what we can do? You've taken everything. You take the next line. It's a string that is coming to me. No, it's a whole string. It's a string, right? That's what next line returns?
Yeah.
Yeah, string. So maybe I could write here itself, just to, again, because I don't want the words, I can maybe change it to, what was that called, to lower? Yeah. That way, if the word or whatever, I mean, all you're saying is whatever the input is, I'll convert it all to lowercase before I start splitting it. So the words like, if the user writes and in capital or and in small twice, they're not two different words. Remember, the and the and are the same. So this will kind of take care of not of one thing, right? But with the by thing, you know, that idea of it is bye or bye or goodbye, that gets out of hands very quickly. That gets out of hands very quickly, because how many things do I check? Okay. So here I've just kind of converted, and maybe I have done this on my, I'm not sure if I did it on my Blackboard one, but I usually, when I try to work with strings, I don't remember now. Oh, I think I did something. I also trimmed it. So remember, trim is not a bad idea too. Remove any extra blanks from before and after the string. Yeah, so I did a few things with this string. As you do it and as you test it, more things will come to your mind, right? So like the by thing, it kind of bugged me, but I didn't want to write a loop and check every word, but contains in a sense does that. Behind the scenes, what does contains do? It goes through the list or the set and looks for something, and if it has it, maybe it stops right there, and I could do the same thing also.
You could use a pattern and then create a matcher.
Exactly,
and then
exactly.
Matcher it up.
Match, yeah. That would be a good idea, a better idea. I could do a pattern and a matcher, and in the matcher, what would I write? What does the matcher do? You give a regular expression, right?
Yeah, you create the regular expression in the pattern and then do
Yeah,
the
exactly. But the
pattern.
regular expression that I create will have the word by in it, you mean? Like,
Yeah,
that's
you
the
could
kind-
probably make it more complex. I'm not that good with regular expressions.
Yeah, I'm not perfect too. I always, every time I have to do it, I have to do it from scratch. Like it's not in my, like I can't do it in the air. But yes, that could be another option. So maybe you can look for a pattern like by, and that will take care of it. Yep, that makes sense. Better than, and again, as I said, behind the scenes, contains is doing the same thing. Contains is not doing any magic. Contains says, look at the first word, you're not by. Look at the second word, you're not by. Look at the third word, oh, it's by. Okay, I stop. So it is doing a loop. It is going through a loop. And I could do the same thing. I could go through the loop. And anytime I have a by, what did I do in my support system?
If it's by, set, exit, true.
Oh, yeah. So here, instead of, I could write a for each here. And I could say, okay, so now I have an set. Is there a method? I'm sure there will be a method in this set to get a word at a time. Remove, size, add. So who's the opposite of add? Adds the specified element. Removes. No, if I just, so let's look at methods that are inherited.
Wait, is hash set the same as hash map?
No, they're two different things. Hash map is a key value pair. Hash set is just a set of elements. I don't see a get method in this set because I think, you know
Check
what?
that, remove if
Yeah, but the remove is just removing it. It will remove it. Removes the specified element from the set. That's not what we want. The contains returns true if the set contains the specified element. So there was nothing which said get here. And I'm thinking why it doesn't have it, because there is no sequence in a set. There is no. So if I was looking if I could get it from somewhere else. I don't see anything that looks like there's a collection iterable for each. Oh, there is a for each. For each of the iterable until all elements have been processed. Oh, they just call it for each and they, okay. I thought there was something that was different. How do I get an element from a set? Notice there is no get method. So now I have a hash set. Of course, then I'll have to convert the set into an array and then look at each element. That's more work for sure. But notice I don't have any get method. I can't retrieve an element because how does it recognize an element? I have add, I have clear, clone, contains, is empty, iterator on it, remove it, size it, and splitterator. Creates a late binding and fail fast. Okay, so you'll have to read about this. I was reading about fail fast actually yesterday because this is a new class. I'll have to go through it. I don't know what it means, but I don't see a get method in a set. In a sense, it makes sense that because what will you say? Give me the first element, the second, you can't say that because it doesn't have a sequence. But if somebody wanted to retrieve them, then all you have is a for each loop.
Okay. You have created an input which is a hash set itself.
No, I took an input as a string and then I chopped it into words and put it into a set.
Well, I guess
Now the opposite, we'll have to do the opposite now. You'll have to take the set and put it into an array.
well, you could put it all as one string and then search.
Yeah, that's too much work. I think the matcher and the pattern one would not be a bad idea. Kind of keeping it in mind. But will the contains do it? I can try that. I could try it, but it will just take a little time because regular, and I'm sure you can a regular expression. So this is the only one. This is the thing that kind of bugged me, which was not perfect. You could trim your input string. You could convert it into all lowercase, take care of those things. But this is something that I said, oh, whatever he says, goodbye or blah, blah, like that. Like, so let's see if I can do it pattern or not. Okay, so that takes care that, oh, what do I have? I have a red squiggly. Oh, forgot my semicolon. I forgot to say print by to exit. So if you don't tell the user, how will the poor guy know how to exit, right? So that's all that was kind of missing. Okay, so that takes care of hash sets and hash maps. And that's what I wanted to cover today. That was my aim. So I didn't put any comments or anything so that I could finish it up. And it looks like I did a good job. I'm finished before time. Now, if you have something we could look at, if you like, to something to do with tree set or tree map, if you want, but like I don't have a ready example to do it. I don't have a ready example to do it. And let me see if I can do something with tree set with you, because that may come handy in the exam. Because they were very closely related. I mean, in the sense of their behavior. So you can kind of think this as a review also, right? Okay. Yeah, so the tree map had a similar structure. Notice how it has a KV pair, a key value pair, because it is coming from the same abstract map. But somewhere, or was there a, let me open another one. Yeah, okay, Java 2, no. And I think tree map is, yeah, there it is. Yep, all known implementing subclasses. So tree map implements the sorted map. What it does is this, let me explain if it makes a little sense. It's not related to Java, it's just something to do with data structures. I mean, as I said, you could have a whole, let me tell you what a sorted map is. But yeah, what I would recommend for sure, just because we are talking about it, since the tree map has a similar structure to a hash map, I would like you to kind of see and notice how it has implemented these interfaces, and that's why it is sorted, unless they call it something else. I'm sure it implements it, yeah, log n time. Yeah, it is implementing it like a binary search tree. And I'll tell you what this binary search tree is, just for your information. It doesn't say a lot. Yeah, this was another interesting thing. Where did I see it? I've seen it somewhere. They were talking about map entry pairs, and oh, I forget. And I wanted to bring this, didn't I use it in my example? No, but I saw it somewhere and I said I should tell my students what this is. It's not in any of my classes I did today. Did I miss something? But I had gone through this map entry. It was interesting how you can get, oh, I think I was reading I was reading the literature where I found it. So I would definitely recommend, because I'm leaning towards creating a final exam that is basically using this collection classes. You know what I mean? Something that will be easy for you to do, where all you are doing is using classes in the Java class library, because you've already done 2 midterms, which were quite logical. So I would recommend, and you can take it as a hint also if you like, to kind of see and through this tree maps and hash maps class. So here, there it was. I thought I had seen it somewhere. You could actually get a whole set of, while I was looking at those, how to convert a list into a set, how to get a set of values. Also, you could do it through this map.entry somewhere. It's not, I can't get my head around, I've forgotten it. I saw it somewhere and now I can't remember where I saw it. But it was interesting. This map entry was a whole class in it, an interface in itself, and you could use it to get all the entries in a, oh, there, that's where I saw it. Yeah, right. How you can get the keys out of a hash set or a tree set, a tree map or a hash map. How you could get only the values out of it. And this will come handy if I say, for example, what are the keys in my hash map? How will you see? If I say, give me the set of, what are the keys in my hash map, or what are the values in my hash map, these 2 methods, the get key and the get value, were handy, right? So keep this, I'm leaning towards it. I'm not saying that's what it will be. I'm leaning towards using these collection classes, not necessarily hash map or array list or set, because that's not what they're restricted to, but to use these classes and make up an exam, a final exam that will make you more look at them and use the methods out of them, instead of, just like writing logical statements like if and fors and so on. So I would strongly recommend that you kind of read through the documentation a little. And the tree map was very similar. And let me tell you what a sorted tree is. This is actually called a binary search tree. And the property of a binary search tree is simply this, that the value at any node, these are called nodes of the tree. Nodes just means values, okay? Any node of the tree on as its left child, you can think of it as if it was a tree. It looks like a tree except opposite, roots on the top, right? If you look at the structure or the behavior of this tree, notice what you're seeing. At every node, all the values that are on left of it. So every tree, actually every node in a tree has a left child and a right child, right? That's what it is. So it has a data part. There is your data. Data means whatever you want to store in it. And there will be a right child and a left child, right? That's what a tree structure is. Any values occurring to the left of a node will all be less. And it will again hold. Anything on the left is less. And anything on the right of a node will always be more. And for every node, it will hold. 6 is less than 8, 9 is greater than 8. 14 is less than 15, 19 is greater than 10. All the values on the right hand side are greater than 10. All the values on the left hand side are less than 10. And if you traverse, there are 3 forms in which you can traverse a tree: pre, post, and in. So if you traverse this tree, and the pre means you will visit the node first, then go to its left, then go to its right. Post means you will go to the right, left or right, and then visit it at the end. And the in says we'll go to the left, we'll visit it, and then we'll go to the right. If you do an infix on this tree, which is already created with this structure called binary search tree, you will always get a sorted list. Always get a sorted list. So I think the sorted map that they have is something, the tree map which has implemented the sorted map, they're trying to keep their tree structure like this. Internally, to you, it really doesn't matter. From that point of view, from a programmer point of view, it doesn't matter how it is implementing it. But I think it adds to your knowledge if you know how things are happening behind the scene. I just know about it because I only just didn't do programming. I did a master's and I had more time. I had 3 years to kind of do all these things. So I know I know a little bit of theory more than practical. So so this is what I'm thinking happens in the tree map, and that's the picture I got when I was reading through the documentation. So the tree is maintained. So inside, so like an array list, how is an array list maintained? So in the array list in Java, it just kind of puts it anywhere it wants, but somewhere it has to say, this is my second after the first, it is my third after the second. So it has to keep a kind of a chain, a link, which says, oh, these are the elements in my array list. An array list is not it's not like an array. It's not contiguous in its structure. So it keeps the address of the next node or the next element in its data plus a link, data plus a link.
Well, the elements are indexed, right?
Yeah, but the elements are indexed, but that index doesn't mean they're contiguously in memory. They're not contiguously in memory. No. So it's not together in memory. They're not together in memory. They're spread all over memory. So it has an index, but how is it implemented? You've never thought about it because you don't care, right? You say get and you give an index and it gets you an element. So what I'm telling you about tree map is how behind the scenes it is implemented. So as a programmer, maybe you don't even care, and that's okay. But I just wanted to let you know that behind every collection there is a storage structure associated with it, right? And therefore, when you read the literature about any of these classes in Java, keep in mind that what is possible in it and what is not possible in it depends upon the storage structure with which it is working. Right? Just so that you know what is making sense. So I would recommend that you please go through tree map, and there are methods here which you can get the key, you can get the value, you can create a set of keys, you can create a set of values, you can even find the highest key in your code or in your tree. The first key returns the lowest. Notice it says lowest, not the first. There's no position. And there is also a last key, if I remember, that returns the highest entry. There it is, the highest in the. So be aware of these collections, because I am leaning towards making something on collections in the final exam. Right? And therefore I want you to kind of pay attention to what we did today. Okay, so it was just not introducing you to more collections, and they're an important part. It's just a collection or a set. You just have to know what the classes are, and sometimes it helps to know from where it is coming, right? So because then you can say, oh, it's coming from an abstract map. So so if I need to find a method and it is not in the tree map, should I go and look in the abstract map? And therefore it tells you. Notice wherever it always tells you these are the methods it has inherited from other classes. So keep in mind that when you look at a class definition, if a method is not available here, just don't give up. It could be available in one of the classes from which it has inherited. And that's exactly what I was looking for get, but I didn't get anything in get for the hash set. Okay, I think that takes care of what I wanted to do today, right? This is all on Blackboard already. I think it is all on Blackboard. I put all the 4 things. And I'm done for today. So if you would like to do anything on your assignment, I see a couple of groups, but not all groups. But if you want to do that, or if you want to ask me any question on the assignment, I'll be happy to do it. But I'm done with what I wanted to do today. So my aim was just introducing you to it. So I'm here till whatever time is allocated to me. If you want to discuss the assignment, or you can work on it, or you can leave, whatever works for you. Okay, so that takes care. So I'm only left with one more topic, and again, I'll look for a good example for it. The J unit testing, right? So that's something that is mentioned in my course contents. So I couldn't do inheritance, and I would have loved to do inheritance and polymorphism, but at least I have this. It is not in my course, but I wanted to, just so that it's easier when you go to an advanced course, you already know about it.
You give a brief description of exactly what it is.
Oh, the inheritance and
No, the J unit testing.
Oh, the J unit testing.
Yeah.
Oh, I will do an example with you. What the J unit testing what it has replaced is the testers we write, right? Okay, give me a minute. Let me